Om Swastiastu. Hello, my name is Chyntia Wulandari from class B PBI Denpasar. Now, I will read the book. The title is The Art of Solitude, What Think About When I'm on My Own. The author is Desi Anwar, and the publisher is PT Gramedia Pustaka Utama Jakarta. Okay, I will start to read. Chapter 1. The Person in the Mirror. Have you ever met someone or some people and you find yourself really interested in them? You want to know everything about this person and what that person likes or dislikes. You want to spend time with them and be close to them because that person makes you feel good and that life is more interesting whenever they are around. Spending time with his exceptional being, you can be sure that you will never get tired or bored. On the contrary, it is a moment that you cherish and look forward to, because conversations are never dull whenever this individual is around. And the day when you don't see this person, you find yourself at a loss, bored even. And yet there is one person who will always be there, whether you like it or not. Someone who can be guaranteed to keep you company day and night for the rest of your life. The person you see every day in the mirror, an individual you may not particularly like or find attractive and interesting. As a matter of fact, you probably find that this person has many flaws, certainly a lot more than other people you see around you. Unlike the people you admire, the person in the mirror seems to be rather dull, lacking in the self-confidence even, and most of time doesn't seem to know what he or she is doing. Compared to others, this individual is tolerable at times, but for the most part, he or she is just plain uninspiring and has nothing much to offer to the world. Not someone worth getting to know inside out. However, if there is one being that is worth getting to know really well, is this person whose reflection you tend to avoid when he or she looks back at you in the mirror. Because this person is you, the only you can count on to always stick by your side and keep you company when nobody else is around. A being you can never escape from even if you want to. Perhaps you try to get away from this person by losing yourself in all sorts of distractions, in your gadgets, in your addiction, and in the noise and din of a constantly busy life. But once you are forced into solitude, that person is there once more, forcing you to confront their existence and reality. Rather than constantly trying to run away from yourself, therefore, a futile and exhausting effort, use your solitude to actually get to really know this person. The self is yours, that you often don't value as much as you do other people. Try to understand what makes this person tick and examine the source of his or her fears and prejudices. Like to a friend that you're fond of, show yourself the same amount of sympathy and compassion whenever this person that is you displays a weakness, a lack of judgment, and makes mistakes. Don't be too quick to criticize this person in the mirror for acting stupid, for making fool of itself in front of people, for saying the wrong thing, and for generally being a remarkable individual in a world that values exceptional people. Instead, when you look in the mirror, and see that person looking back at you, give that person a smile. Look deep into their eyes and thank them for being the way they are, for always being there even when they are not wanted. Appreciate the sign in that person's eyes, the lines around the slightly crooked smile, the face you are so familiar with that you often find nothing but contempt and decay as the years go by. And you might find, if you take the time and patience to get to know this person in the mirror, that there are a lot of things that you can learn about yourself, your desires and longings, your fears and anxieties, your motivation and inclination, and all the things that make you interested in and truly understand another human being. So that more than any other person in the world, you discover that the best, most reliable, and most valuable friend you can have in your life is the one looking at you in the mirror. Chapter 2: The Joy of Daydreaming. When I was a child, living in a house with other children, often I could not wait to get away from them, get away from their shouts, squeals, squabbles, and screams. I will look for a space where I could be on my own, far from their noise and teasings. It might be in a corner of a room behind a makeshift tent, or in one of the branches of the avocado tree growing behind the house. A space where I could truly be alone and where I could spend time doing one of my favorite things uninterrupted, which was to daydream. Indeed, I found and still find daydreaming a luxury. It is one of the most enjoyable things we can do, especially these days, when there are so many things around us that are distracting and demand our constant attention. Under cover of the makeshift tent made of an old blanket, or looking up at the passing clouds between the leaves of the avocado tree above me, I allow my mind to soar and embark in some of the greatest and most adventurous journeys that my young imagination could conjure up. In these active daydreams, I will travel to far-flung places that I had only read about in books, places where places where there were tall mountains with craggy rocks that only eagles could reach, enchanted forests with trees that whisper secrets and lead the wanderer astray, deserts with red sand and burn your feet, and mirage that gave hope only to daze it away. Neat wooden houses with thatched roofs and round windows in a small village that turn white in the winter as the snow buried them like those drawn on Christmas cards. It might be that during in my daydream, I saw myself as a brave child who ran away from home to become an intrepid adventurer or explorer. I paddled on a canoe that drifted previously on dangerous whitewater rapids, heading straight for the waterfall where I was carried helplessly by the thunderous water and fell a deadly drop of a least of 100 feet to the cold river below, and somehow miraculously survived. It was, after all, my daydream. And in my daydream, I was a hero in once upon a time land battling monsters and slaying dragons. I was a cowboy riding on my faithful steed at full gallop, with a lasso in my hand and a belt full of cartridges and a pistol at my hip. I was an astronaut stepping into my rocket and heading for the stars with my glass helmet and ready to make friends with aliens from outer space.